Hey there, my fellow car enthusiasts. So let's see, we've got, I'd say about 2,500 to 3,000 miles on this engine since we did the heads and cam swap, and at that same time I went through and fixed a bunch of the weepy little oil leaks. Not that it was leaking badly. LSs don't generally leak really bad. They just kind of weep and get all filthy. Anyways, so yeah, this thing's been pretty clean, and when I put it back together, I put on this here Chinese Amazon special oil catch can. I didn't purchase it. It was actually on the car when I bought it. I cleaned it up, fixed everything that I could that I didn't like about it, and I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna run it and we'll see what it does. Well, I got home the other day, and actually no, I moved the car out of the garage and parked it in the driveway for a minute, and I happened to see a decently sized puddle of oil on the floor. And at first I was all bent out of shape about it because I put a lot of effort into trying to clean this thing up. And after I thought about it for a second and kind of guessed where it was on the floor versus where the car gets parked, it didn't take very long for me to say, hey, let's put a hand underneath the catch can. And sure enough, hand came out completely covered in oil. So I'm not going to mess with that anymore. It's going in the garbage can unless somebody wants it for free. I did manage to score a really nice used Elite Engineering catch can from the folks down at I believe it is a shop called Cords Performance Racing in Arizona. They had this cute little feller on eBay, and I picked it up for, I forget what it was, like 130, 140 bucks shipped. And the nice thing about Elite Engineering catch cans is they don't have any drains or anything on them. It's just a bowl. So there is no leaking unless you really do something stupid to the poor thing. So we're going to get that guy ready to put on, get that other one stripped off of there, and we'll go from there. One of the other things that I wanted to mention on this installation is that my PCV valve hose routing is not original. This was originally a what they would call a perimeter bolt cylinder head car, and it had the normal C5 Corvette PCV valve setup that would be laying right down in here. And when I made the switch to the 243 heads, the PRC heads, I had to buy new valve covers, and I ended up getting the ones with the I don't know if this is, I don't remember how this is exactly routed, but anyways, there's two nipples on the passenger side valve cover, and then the port in the driver's side valve cover for the actual PCV valve. So that's the system that I'm running. So the PCV valve, that hose is coming back around. It's going to the inlet of the catch can, out of the catch can into the intake where it's being pulled in via vacuum. This is the fresh air supply going into the passenger valve cover. That seems to be a pretty common arrangement for running these valve covers with these heads. I gotta see if I can get a pair of pliers to get these hoses stripped off of here. Maybe it's actually knocking the fitting loose. I have some suspicions that there could be some vacuum leaks going on with this catch can too, which is another reason why I want to get rid of it. I don't want to get too rowdy with this hose because I'd like to maybe reuse some of it if I need to. See if I can get it to get a little loose in the tightening direction. I can hear them squeaking. There we go. Just need to give them loose on there. Okay, so hopefully we can reuse some of that. I think when I had put this hockey stick bracket on here, the water pump was still off. I've got some spacers behind the hockey stick bracket. I honestly don't remember why I did that. Other than maybe I was worried about these particular bolts being too long. I'm going to reuse this hardware and maybe the spacers with the Elite Engineering can. Not drop hardware all over the place. I'm already getting oil all over my fingers from the bottom of this catch can. Yeah, hopefully you can see that in the camera. There's oil all over the bottom of this thing. I don't know if it's just the drain plug or if it's actually the way the base is attached to the can itself. Like I said earlier, I don't really care. I'm not even gonna mess with it. Unfortunately, it looks like it was dripping all over the air conditioning clutch. That's probably not the best for long-term life of the clutch on the air conditioning compressor, but I'm gonna get this fixed. I don't know if you can see in the cheesy little sight glass, but there is in fact a bit of oil in there. So the crappy one was doing something. So I just went and grabbed a paper coffee cup. We'll pull the drain out of the bottom of this thing and see how much was in there for about 3,000 miles. I am kind of wondering if maybe it was just the plug that was leaking because it wasn't very tight. There's a bit in there. If I had to guess, probably 3 or 4 tablespoons anyways. But we'll throw this in the parts pile. Determine whether it'll ever see another use or not. Okay, so we went and took the used Elite Engineering catch can apart and got her cleaned up. Pulled all the old oil out of it just so it wouldn't be so slimy to work with. You can see the insides. This does, of course, does have the it's like a, I don't know if this will go in. There's like a pot scrubber inside of this piece here. This is the inlet, which helps strip the oil off and drop it into the jar, if you will. These are supposed to be made in the USA. Seems extremely well built. Totally happy with it for the price, as far as it not being all beat up. It has what I would consider normal wear and tear on it. So I went ahead and took the fittings out, cleaned them up, put a little bit of tape on them, put them back in, a couple of wraps. If there was any vacuum leaks before, I don't want any new ones. There was didn't appear that there was really anything on the threads. Possibly a little bit of Loctite, but it was probably fine. But just a little bit of peace of mind. So yeah. So it kind of goes without saying, a lot of people know this, some people don't know this. Making this bowl as tight as you can get it doesn't help it seal anymore, so no reason to torque this down to gargantuan torque specs. This type of O-ring is doing all the sealing against this edge inside of the bowl. So it should not fall off even just going like that. So let's get it stuck in the car, and maybe we'll fire it up and make sure we don't have any vacuum leaks. So I guess I should have been more clear at the beginning of the video. This is going on a LS1 heads and cam car with it's a 1997 C5 Corvette. Okay, first bolt started. If I understand correctly, there is now a second generation of the Elite Engineering catch cans. I don't know how I would tell if this is a second generation one or an original one. Maybe some of you guys, if somebody actually watches this video, can tell me by looking at it if it's the second generation one. Nor do I know what the differences are. I don't know if one's way better than the other. I find that hard to believe. So I think we want to kind of bring this up as high as we can get it, so that the bowl can actually be taken off when it's time to drain this bugger. I think maybe we'll try about right there. That guy's gonna have to go underneath. A little bit of rearranging, but we'll get her. It's going to be nice to have a dry engine again and no more oil on the floor. Okay, I want to see if I can sneak this guy underneath the fresh air like that. I think that'll be just fine. So our inlet, this is our inlet coming from the PCV valve. I'm gonna go grab the spring clips that are actually provided with the Elite Engineering installation. Thankfully that didn't go ping all the way across the garage floor. Thankfully, even for barb fittings, that came back off okay. Okay, I think I'm going to roll that to the bottom a little bit because I don't really want to snag an elbow on that spring clip. That would kind of suck. So I'm going to go grab my lovely snap-on hose cutters. If you guys have never seen snap-on hose cutters before, they're very hard to find anymore, but they're worth their weight in gold. At least they used to be hard to find. Oh, excuse me. These are not snap-ons, they're actually blue points. So I think we're going to take right around 3/4 of an inch off of that guy. But yeah, if you've never used these hose cutters before, it's 1,000 times better than a pocket knife or a razor blade. And they cut really, really clean cuts. Let's get Mr. Spring clip put on there. back does not do well with this leaning over stuff anymore. Maybe not the best camera view. Okay. That's pretty much all there is to it. She is officially installed. I'm gonna go grab some keys and we'll start this bugger up. So there's the finished product of the Elite Engineering catch can. Installed on a 1997 C5 Corvette. Don't get me wrong, I know this isn't groundbreaking or revolutionary. There are other videos out there for putting catch cans on C5 Corvettes or putting catch cans on just about anything. This was more or less kind of a video to maybe take a look at a cheap catch can and see what it's like and how it leaks, and move on to a more top tier catch can and see if all the problems go away, which I suspect they will. Here we'll use a Mustang as a camera holder.